Okay, so let's just talk about this real quick, and I'll probably put this on YouTube. So far, Blood Decay, I think this one is really cool. Well, to be honest, I think it's also a little bit lame just because you're forced to play Crimson Rune Weapon only. Like, I can't imagine Blood Decay playing any other legendary with this set. Playing with Super Strain and all that stuff, probably not very good. But I do think this addresses like a couple of issues with Blood Decay. Makes them quite a bit tankier, because dancing's actually really tanky. It's effectively 40% damage reduction on physical damage. Well, most physical damage, not all. And the fact that it spawns two rune weapons now means that your damage goes up a lot, which also helps your aggro a lot. And I think the biggest thing will be how the interaction works, because it says that anytime you parry, you will hard strike. But at the same time, hard striking will increase the duration and increase your strength. If you're just constantly hard striking enemies and it's constantly increasing your strength and duration, that just means that you'll have infinite dancing and you do way more damage. I don't think that's how it's gonna work, but we'll have to see. So for now, I think Bloody Kid is gonna get a massive buff. Like, especially if you couple this with using the Covenant Legendary. If you're playing like Night Fae or Kyrian, those two are probably looking really good for next patch. So definitely looking forward for Death Knights. Now Vengeance, I think this one is by far the most busted one at the moment. I don't think this one's going live. We'll have to see. But in short, at the moment, Vengeance has so much synergy. You combine this one with Blind Faith and what's that one legendary? Razleek's Defilement, the one that decreases the cooldown on your sigils. And quicken sigils, of course, and Mechanicals. So when you're combining all of that together, you're gonna have a crap ton of versatility just because every time your immolation is ticking on like a bunch of mobs, you're just like crapping out a bunch of lesser soul fragments. This also means that your self healing is gonna be really insane. Like having permanent immortal aura on top of constant souls on top of the new blind faith that gives you verse now. And the fact that you can use two legendaries, that just means that you'll have permanent really high verse. And yeah, you would be running Spirit Bomb still. Even though Spirit Bomb got nerfed, I think it's still really strong. So at the moment, this is looking like the best one, but I do think this is probably going to get nerfed. Or it's not going to be the way we see it to be. For Guardian, I'm not too sure how I feel about this one. It's kind of interesting. Like I have to see how much damage the four piece does. But it'll have a lot of different options on what type of builds you play. You'll maybe play Barkskin build, or you'll maybe play like shorter Incarn just because you're so much tankier now that you don't necessarily need UFR. Like I don't know if UFR is gonna be the default choice nowadays, or well, not nowadays, but in 9.2. We'll have to see what type of build you go for, but this is looking pretty good so far. I think it's like an interesting interaction, and it's a good set all around. Brewmaster probably got the shortest end of the stick. It's actually not that bad of a set bonus, but it's really boring and it's a little bit lackluster compared to the other ones. Like so far, we've seen three really good tier sets, and these two look kind of lame. I would say with everyone playing Special Delivery and Necrolord and Celestial Infusion, this might be pretty good. I haven't really looked too much into the legendaries for Brewmaster, so I'm not too sure what that's gonna be looking like. Like I actually have no idea what the Covenant legendaries do for Brewmaster. And of course, it's all like subject to tuning, so maybe good, maybe not. I would say Brewmaster has the weakest one so far. Now, Paladin, this one looks kind of insane. In raid, it might not be as good, but in M plus, when you're constantly getting meleeed and you're constantly blocking, but increased block chance and shooting out random judgments, depending if this has a internal cooldown or not. But this would mean that Prop Paladin is getting a ton of extra holy power and it's gonna do a lot of damage, both single target and AoE. And the fact that Prop Paladins get double legendary next patch with Divine Resonance and Seal of the Righteous Fury, it means that Prop Paladin will be doing probably the highest damage by quite a bit. Aside from maybe Vengeance, considering Vengeance has that stupid tier set. Like, if I had to guess, I'm gonna put Paladin and Vengeance as the ones having the best tier sets so far. So Prot Warrior, this one's a little bit interesting. It's a little bit lame because it's increasing Shield Slam and Thunderclap, and Thunderclap is not that powerful at the moment. A lot of Prot Warrior's damage actually comes from Revenge and all your other stuff, like your Covenant ability, Ravager. But maybe you'll go for a more Thunderclap heavy build. I don't really know. Like, I'm not too sure how impactful this tier set is. With Shield Slam damage, though, that means that your single target will be pretty damn good with this. I think the 4-piece is also really lame. Overall, it's not very exciting. Doesn't really change your gameplay too much. But this is kind of nice to have. Avatar increasing damage and, more importantly, decreasing damage dealt. Like, I think this part would help Pro Warriors a lot. Aside from that, I think Pro Warriors don't have that great of a tier set. It's like probably in the little bit lower half. Not as bad as Brewmaster, but we'll have to see how tuning goes. Like, this is all super subject to tuning. We don't know the exact details on how some of these stuff work.